remembers the ability to do a 10-minute presentation. Today, I have confused this man. You need to have a mom with him because he is a spiritual center, and they're having an amazing class in June. But it's not candle making, but it's how to manifest good things with candles. So Jonathan, take it away. Let's give it up for Jonathan. And we might get some serenity in our life.
Hey. Yeah, maybe. To answer the question real quick, she only ever said it once, but it was enough for me to remember it. It was right after I was going through my growth spurt, and I went in, gave my mom a hug in the kitchen, and said, "Hey, look, Mom, I'm taller than you." And she looked up and said, "Yes, but I will always be bigger than you." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." Never changed. So, what I'd like to do real quick is everybody can make sure that your cell phones are put away, flipped over, anything along those lines, just so that they're not bothering you for the next 10 minutes or so. And I'd like to invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. And I'd like for you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I'd like for you to imagine a box. The type of box, the size of box, doesn't matter. But just imagine a box. And imagine putting all of your plans, worries, stresses, anything along those lines inside of that box. And closing it and locking it in whatever way that box will close and lock. Know that all of those things will be there for you later, after this meeting is over. And go ahead and open your eyes, and welcome back. So before I talk about my business, just to give you a little bit of background about me, I am Jonathan Pouliot. I was born on the island of Guam. My dad was in the Navy. It's a U.S. territory, so I don't have dual citizenship, even though my older brother really enjoyed telling me I was Guamanian growing up. But lived in Florida for most of my life. Pensacola is kind of the hometown where my parents still are. I got my associate's degree in vocal performance and my bachelor's degree in musical theater, so I am a performer at heart. That's where my passion really lies. And I work with a theater just down the road here in Largo, 8 O'Clock Theater, which is the only community theater in like 4 counties that still uses a live orchestra. So if you haven't heard of them, look them up. They have a great show going on this weekend. Great shows coming out next year as well. So the business that I do is spiritual healing and training. It's called Gateway Healing. The word that I don't use a lot of times with people that I actually do is I do magic. But when I spell magic, I spell it M-A-G-I-C-K. Because magic with a C is pulling a rabbit out of a hat. That's not what I do. I'm not here about illusion. I'm here doing real magic. And I'm here today to talk to you about how magic can help you in your business. So to understand that, first we have to understand what is real magic. So I pose that question to you. What do you think the definition of real magic is?
Do you want to tell me?
Absolutely.
Something with the soul, it works with your soul.
Okay. Anybody else? Ideas?
Manifestation.
Manifestation? Okay, that's a form of magic for sure. The definition that we use in the lineage that I study with of what is magic is making something out of nothing or turning something into something else. So making something out of nothing or turning something into something else. So based on that definition, what are some examples of magic that you see or do every single day?
Make lemonade out of lemons.
Okay, very good. You're taking something, you're making it into something else. Andy?
Oxygen to CO2.
Breathing, yeah. Converting that oxygen into what you need for your body and then changing it into something else that other organisms on the planet need. Very good. So cooking of any kind, the lemonade is a great example, but taking ingredients and turning it into something different is a form of magic. Making art is a form of magic. A lot of art is taking nothing and turning it into something. Or there's, the collages or things along those lines where you're taking something and turning it into something else. But also the work that you do every day. can be considered magic. So, for instance, taking an old crumbling roof and turning it back into its original glory to last for several more years. Taking a very confused individual about insurance and being able to understand it much better to make better decisions. Taking absolutely nothing and turning it into a song that resonates in people's heads for years to come. So the things that you do every day are a form of magic. So there are two main ways that we can work with magic in our lives: ritual and spells. So let's make sure that we know what those are before we get into it. So what is a ritual?
It's something you practice or do every day, like we pray before we eat, pray
Okay.
before we sleep.
All right, very good. I saw a hand over here. Same thing? Okay, it's pretty spot on. The definition, the dictionary definition of a ritual is a task or set of tasks that we do consistently in the same manner or repetition. So, Mark gave an example of praying before your meal. That's a form of ritual. What are some other rituals that we do in our lives?
RGA meetings.
Yay! Right? You come to a specific place at a specific time. You do certain things. Maybe you order the same thing every time that you go to a
Would
specific
holding
restaurant.
your breath when you drive over a bridge be the ritual?
That can be considered a ritual as well. Very good. There you go.
Opening our store every day be a ritual?
You could if you do the same thing. You unlock the door. You go here. You go there. You turn these lights on. That's a ritual. What about brushing your teeth?
Oh, yeah.
Or you're getting up for the day or getting ready for bed ritual total. You know, I know it doesn't happen very often for this reason, but if I try in the morning to do my morning routine in a different order, it never goes well.
That's right.
I end up walking out the door and being like, did I brush my teeth? I don't remember if I did or not. So you do those things in a consistent manner so that you get the same result. The other way that we work with magic is through spells. So when people think of spells, you might think about like cauldrons and, adding Eye of Newt and all those kinds of things. But where else do we hear the word spell?
I took a spell, sick, I fell down.
Okay,
Spelling.
spelling. There we go. Words. Because to spell a word is to put a certain set of symbols in a certain order to convey a message to someone else. That is all the spell is using symbols, whether it be candles, herbs, oils, pictures, whatever the case may be, and putting them into a specific order in order to communicate to the universe what it is that you're wanting to manifest. So that's all that a spell is. So ritual and spell are the two ways that we can work with magic in our lives. So how can working with magic help you and your business? Working with magic brings us into greater alignment with ourself and with the universe. God, source, spirit, the universe, whatever your preferred pronoun for that is today. Being in more alignment means that you are operating with more authenticity in your life. Being more authentic means you have more joy, and more joyful people are more successful. Communicating your intentions and desires to the universe can guide you to clients and connections in unexpected ways that you never thought imaginable. So how can Gateway Healing help you using magic? First and foremost, the life activation, which is a DNA activation that brings greater alignment and clarity. We also offer a weekly meditation, which brings focus and clarity and helps you to be more present when you're making your decisions and working with your clients. I teach a class on sacred geometry, which gives you an attunement to the building blocks of creation in order to help with your manifestation to be more successful. I also teach a class on astral travel, which astral traveling helps to expand your understanding or your awareness of what is possible. And when you think on a bigger scale, what else can you achieve in your life? I also teach an Empower Thyself class with an initiation that gives you tools to protect and maintain your personal energy, and also gives you tools to expand your personal energy field times 10 for greater impact in the world. meaning anything that you do, whether it be giving a compliment, helping somebody with something, has the impact of 10 people doing that at the same time. So how much more impact could your business have if you were representing 10 people at a time to your customers? So there's much more available, and I'm happy to talk to anybody about that. But for now, we'll open it for questions.
Really nice presentation.
Yes, sir.
So you mentioned astral. Do you do past life for regression type stuff?
I do not do past life regression. For that, I would refer you to Michael Brady for his expertise in that field.
How did you get started?
I got started by being a client. Back during COVID, I was invited to attend the meditations that an acquaintance of mine was doing. We hadn't even really been friends, we just kind of knew of each other. So I started to go to these meditations and having these really powerful experiences. And so I said, you know, what else do you have? And he told me about the life activation, which I received. Got massive benefits from that. So continued to talk to him about what else was available. Continued to receive, continued to take these classes, to learn these teachings, and continued to see the benefits that they were making in my own life. And then I would come back here from Sarasota, which is where I was going for these things, and telling my friends about it, and as soon as they heard Sarasota, they were like, oh no, I'm not doing that. So I quickly learned that I was going to have to be the person to offer it here in order to break that boundary of people needing to go to Orlando or Naples or Sarasota, where the closest practitioners were at the time.
Okay.
Sir?
Now, is this service like something you do weekly, like a ritual, like weekly, monthly, or?
So the services that I offer, predominantly, it kind of depends. I have a set of services that are a one and done. Like the life activation, you come in for 90 minutes and you have the benefits of that for the rest of your life. I then have other services that I call more maintenance services. So I use the analogy of a massage. So you get all tense, you go in, you get a massage, you feel really good, you go out and you live life, you get tense again. Eventually, depending on your lifestyle, you have to go back and get another massage. So really and truly, it depends on your lifestyle, the kinds of, you know, inner energy or outer energy that you're experiencing as to how often you may need some of those other services. Some people, it's once a year or once every 6 months. Some people, if they're, for instance, a mental health counselor or somebody else who works very intimately with people, then they may need it more often, depending on what that particular service is. So they all kind of vary depending on those factors. Great question. Yes, sir?
2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, is there a significance to the color that you wear?
The purple is, first and foremost, my favorite color. But a lot of what I do, everything that I do actually, in one way, shape, or form, is helping people to remember their divinity and sovereignty in their life. And purple is a color of royalty over the ages. And so it is sometimes a color that I wear as a reminder of my own royalty that I have in my own life that I have discovered, and also how I can help you to discover your own as well.
Okay. And the other question was, how does this, some of us in the room have neurodivergence, and sitting still long enough for anything can be challenging. Do you have tools for those of us?
So the funny thing is, I've worked with plenty of neurodivergent people, and none of them have had a problem. I have people who come to my meditation who are like, hey, if I get really antsy, I'm really sorry, I have a problem sitting still. I'm like, hey, it's no problem. An hour later, they haven't budged. My husband, actually, the very first thing I learned to do was a crystal healing that I offered. That's about an hour of laying there with crystals in different areas that do different things. And after I learned it, I asked him, I was like, can I practice this on you? And he was like, it's not going to work, it's not going to do anything, you know, I'm not into this. I was like, I don't care, just let me practice before I start offering this to other people. And he was like, fine. So he laid down for an hour, put the crystals on him. When we were done, I said, how do you feel? He was like, my brain shut up for an hour, and my brain never shuts up. There's always a song or a list or something constantly going through my head, but for that hour, nothing. It's like it was the most relaxed I've been in years.
Carrie and I are in.
2 questions. First, have you ever done sound baths?
I have participated in sound baths. I don't do them myself, but yes. Vibration is a very strong healer because you learn this in sacred geometry, but everything kind of starts as energy, and then as it slows down, it becomes sound, and then sound slows down into this. And even though we think that we're solid and material, we are still vibrating. Everything is vibrating. We're made of tiny little particles that are just flying all around each other all the time. So it would make sense that the right vibration would help to bring us back into the proper alignment or attunement, or however you want to think about it, which is why sound healing is so effective, because it is reaching a step back from where we came from and helping to re-attune and realign us to where we are.
I've done it for the first time in my store and it was cool. Second question. I love that pin, and I notice you always wear it. Is there a significance to it?
It's essentially the same as the purple. It's the crown, so it is on my brochure. The tagline that I have is, "Are you ready to reclaim your crown?" Because I believe, and our lineage believes, that we all have a crown that when we came into this world we set aside with the goal of reclaiming it and remembering it. And so I am here to help you with that journey for yourself to remember, reclaim, and put your crown back on in your life.
Very nice. I love that.
Carrie, one more.
Last question.
Is there-
Can you do what you just described for your partner in a group? And I'm asking for my friend Andy, who is doing sound baths at Largo Mattress, and it might be kind of cool to combine those two things. I just don't know if it's a group-friendly thing.
I think you can find custom
Do you have enough
clients.
crystals?
Technically, that's the issue.
Yeah.
Is there's a specific set of crystals needed, and I own 5 sets, so technically I could do 5 people at a time.
First five get in.
Right?
I think you could find clients though.
If we want to do that, absolutely.
Jonathan, look there and tell people how they can get in touch with you.
GatewayHealingFL.com, or email me at info@gatewayhealingfl.com.